problems. Oh my God, so many DMs. I agree. So for every hater, there are people, each thing we say, as obscure as it is. And listen, before we get into Bethenny's strike, everything happens for a reason. I believe this is what had to happen for you to see clearly, because you would have gone for years and years and possibly years down the IVF road, tons of money, tons of pain, tons of heartache. And now, not that there's a bad road, but now you never would have gotten to an egg donor if this didn't happen. So you have to just look at the positive part of this.
Hey, truer words have never been spoken. Thank you for that. And that is the truth. I thought, if this isn't a clear sign from God, you know exactly the next step. So how grateful am I?
And guess what? I'm not even charging you for this session, $250. Next session, girl, I need the $250.
What?
I take Venmo and PayPal.
I know. Oh my
So
God.
I am
All
sorry
right.
to hear about your loss.
Well, I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome. Now, girl, there is a strike amongst us. We are making progress. Bethenny is like, listen. She charters these planes, and now, I mean, I can just go back to Mark Garagos and Brian Friedman. These are the real deals. So I think, I don't know, but they don't seem to be saying this is just going to go away. I mean, Brian Friedman said this is war. Now, like when I had the esteemed colleague, lawyer Gloria Allred on my show, and I said that nobody scares me. And I said, but Gloria, if I was like sitting home minding my own business and I opened a piece of paper and it said, you're being sued by Gloria Allred, I would shit my pants. I would have a real problem. That is like what Garagos and Friedman are. It's a real, this is Bethenny. This isn't playing around over here.
Well, and it's real because you know this, right? I mean, when you get to Gloria's status, or Mark Garagos, who's famously represented Chris Brown and I believe Michael Jackson at one point. Look,
and Gabrielle Union in Against the Voice, NBC again, and we got a settlement there.
I'm sure they're lovely people, but they are not doing this for free. They're doing this because they see huge dollar signs. So Mark obviously took this on knowing that there was going to be a big payout, right? And perhaps too, to help future generations. So I think it's very interesting. They fired off that big article you saw, which came out this past week, alleging all the mental abuse that they put, reality stars through knowingly, basically saying knowingly. They know these people are mentally unstable at times and they don't care. And you guys know I love TLC. I do a lot with TLC. Let's look at some of the, I want TLC to pay the people that they're putting on these shows what they deserve, which I know for a fact they're not, right? 1,000-Pound Sisters, 1,000-Pound Best Friends, My 600-Pound Life. I mean, we could go on and on. So shots fired at NBC Bravo. I mean, they're really saying these networks knowingly create mental and physical harm to these cast members, and they don't give a shit.
Right. And like, just so, because everyone, listen, there's two sides to this. I truly do see both sides, but just so everyone understands, and I'm grossly oversimplifying, not because I'm a lawyer, but because like I only skimmed it. So, but this is my understanding. It's like, no, because people are going to say, but they sign a contract. Yes. But what Garagos is claiming, and that thing that I read, is that, these contracts in and of themselves are unconscionable. Like, you are getting paid. So there is consideration, because you can't have a contract without consideration. Like, you are getting paid, you're signing it and you're getting paid, but you can't sign away in like the unconscionable. Like, you still can't, it's almost like a hostile work environment. You still can't. Now listen, and I know people like Kim D has a story. Allison Dubois has a story. I said to Kim, we're talking about on the Patreon this weekend, like, girl, do you want to call Bethenny, Kim? You consider it. I mean, I think they'll take friends of, and it's not just Bravo, but like Kim has a story where she was locked in a room where they're like, you're not leaving. No, you're going to stay here. I mean, that's also false imprisonment. Allison Dubois says at the dinner party from hell, she said it on this podcast, like, they took her keys. They're like, you're not done, sweetheart. You're not done. Get back in there with Kyle and go ahead. Like, we have your keys. You're not driving out of here. So that is what they're saying. They're not saying whether you signed a contract or not. They're saying these are unconscionable like situations of, I was on Millionaire Matchmaker. I went to the mixer. The mixer started at 7:30 in the morning. I got there and it was a mixer. You had to pretend like it was 9 o'clock at night. I was meeting all my gentlemen. They're like, "What do you want to drink?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, thank God you're asking me." 7:30. I'm like, like as the biggest black coffee you can find. They're like, "What?" They're like, "You're not having coffee." Literally, true story. They're like, "You have to drink." True, it's a true story. And I'm like, ugh, literally it was 7:30 in the morning. And then they're like, well, you have to drink something. And they're like, you're also going to carry it around. And I'm like, well, I carry a martini glass. So I'm like, I guess I'll have a martini. And then I'm drinking at like 7. They're like, you need to drink, you need to have another drink. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, so it is true. So it's like things like that. I mean, that's what they're claiming. Like, just because you sign a contract, it doesn't open the floodgates for situations like this. They're saying it's like unconscionable. And then there's also like reference to porn. I assume they're talking about Danielle Staub. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, also, again, this isn't just Housewives,
That's
but like
what
her porn was discussed way back. Danielle's Cop Without a Badge porn, not the book, that porn that she did that went along with it.
right. But I mean, I'm sure there's like so many more examples, I'm sorry, of like porn that's either shown or discussed or, I mean, look, here's what because I completely forgot this. And that's why our audience is the smartest. But people were sending us the DMs like, do you remember Bethenny? Like, let's see Bethenny show what her reality show contracts were when she had that HBO show. And
I love that. I loved that.
Well, honey, I don't think they're going to be favorable to the talent.
No, Bethenny, Shark Tank, darling, Shark Tank. Bethenny don't play.
No, this is what I always have a problem with both Bethenny and Nene. Oh my God, we can get into that too. But and the other thing is, did you ever follow on TikTok the Bunny Barbie? Did you ever follow that woman? She's a TikTok star. She had an agreement with Bethenny Frankel to develop a reality show around she and her husband. And Bethenny had the most constrictive contract for her for 2 years that held her from making any money, like doing interviews. I mean, insane stuff. And Bethenny never developed a show. So this is my question to you is remembering these things of Bethenny having that HBO Max reality show, which was called what? What was it called?
Big Shot. I think Big Shot with Bethenny.
Right. Okay. Knowing that she probably gave shitty contracts, knowing what she did to Bunny Barbie. And then I think she tried to sue Bunny Barbie to stop talking about what was going on. And I don't know if they settled. I didn't follow all of it. I mean, do you think Bethenny's sincere now?
Well, I mean, it's almost like I do think two things get to be true because people have also brought up, I love the fact that they reference the contracts. I would love to see that contract. I guarantee you it was like worse than Bravo's or it was all about the B. But the two other things people brought up there, this tweet is resurfacing where my good friend Aviva Drescher said,